What's up, Planeswalkers? Another day, another deck, and today we're doing a April Fool's Day deck. A day late, we are playing You Fool. As you can see, this is a play on the Esper bounce deck, but we're using Scrollshift with temporary lockdown to really benefit ourselves. So we have nowhere to run, Wishclaw Talisman, we've got Momentum Breaker, Hopeless Nightmare, all that fun stuff. So we can actually scroll shift our own temporary lockdown to get multiple benefits off of the same thing while shutting down our opponents and making them look like a fool. Let's get right on into it. Up first, we've got Peanut. Let's see if Peanut has anything to stop us. We got our Pixie, we got our Nowhere to Run. Hopefully we face like an aggro deck. There's a Heartfire Hero. I'm gonna say this deck just feasts on aggro too. So let's go ahead and Nowhere to Run. Get rid of that Heartfire. We don't even take 1 damage. All because it's -3/-3. You fool! So now we can actually go ahead and bounce it back if we wanted, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to Case of the Shattering Pact. Let's go get us a island, just in case we need it. And then we can Nurturing Pixie, bring back the Nowhere to Run to our hand. And we are ready. So if they play anything else, we have something to deal with it. I think we just let them attack because they're going to pump. Yeah, we don't want to block or anything. I would have waited to try and pump that, see if I would block. We could temporary lockdown. I think what I'm going to do here, though, is I'm just going to go ahead and pass, swing in for 2. They held up a mountain, so I think they have something to protect their Hired Claw. So we don't necessarily want to go ahead and flash it in yet. Say it's opponent's turn. Okay. I was like, I passed. I've been having issues with the client today though. So opponent can pump it up again, which is fine. Do they go more? They don't. They have something, though, that they're holding back. So what I'm thinking here we can do is we can Plains, and then we can Nowhere to Run this, and then we can Scroll Shift the Nowhere to Run to bounce it and give it -3 again. So it'd effectively be a -6. But let's go ahead and just, this town ain't big enough to start, kind of let opponent stew in their own juices, and then we can see if we can catch them after they play it this time. Yeah, I don't think we really... No, I was like, do we scroll shift our Pixie? But no, that, I mean, it would work, but they're gonna give it haste. Now they've only got 2, so let's try here. Make them have it, because I'm thinking they don't really have anything that's gonna give it +1/+1, right? Yeah, they have 2 monstrous rages. Okay. Opponent sees the writing on the wall, and on to the next one. Baka the Brilliant. I like that fungus picture. The fungus among us. This is a decent hand. We don't have a white source, but we have the case to go ahead and get us a Plains. Then we've got the Wishclaw and a Hopeless Nightmare. Hopeless Nightmare is kind of our biggest source of damage here, which I really enjoy. So let's go ahead and keep this hand. What is opponent playing? Darkslick Shores waiting to come down. Dastardly Dwayne over here waiting. Baka the Brilliant going first. Okay. Oh, they're playing the Esper bounce. Okay, that's fine. They mulligan, so our Hopeless Nightmare kind of hurts them a little bit more. Momentum Breaker into the graveyard. So yeah, they must know we're doing the same thing. We don't really have a ton of creatures. They're gonna see when we play the Nurturing Pixie. So let's go ahead and swamp. Why is it? My mouse is messing up. Swamp. Case of the Shattered Pact. Are they gonna counter this? I could see them countering it. No? Oh, well, okay. I guess they are countering it. That's kind of interesting. Well, we got the white source either way, so let's go ahead and Pixie down. We can bounce this, make them discard another card. Again, kind of punish them a little bit for it. Spell Pierce. Wow, they are really running mainboard Spell Pierce. 2 of them. That's kind of crazy. Mainboard Spell Pierce. Okay. I just saw... Okay, let's go. I saw they have a Deadpool Secret Lair. What? Oh, hopefully we can get this. Hopefully we can get this. This is amazing. Okay, sorry. I'm back in the game, y'all. Back in the game. Wishclaw Talisman. We should be able to go ahead and give them something. If they really want to, they can take advantage of it, but I don't think it's going to be anything too wild for them. They're still missing a land drop, so that's okay. We've got this town ain't big enough. We've got the Scrollshift. We've got the Hopeless Nightmare again. What are the odds of a third? Like a third total Spell Pierce, right? Like, I know they probably have other counter spells, but I'm really hoping they don't have a third Spell Pierce specifically. Alright, opponent's thinking about it. They're gonna Wishclaw. They got that extra land, so I don't blame them for doing it. Alright, Momentum Breaker. So there goes our Pixie, which is again fine with me. So we've got another Scrollshift. I'm thinking we could Hopeless Nightmare and then bounce one of their Otters and our Hopeless Nightmare just to get them to get rid of the cards in their hand and go from there, which is all fine by me. I'm okay with that. Do we wait? I think we wait. I'm gonna go get another land just so that we can set up next turn. I think we get a white source just to have the Scrollshift. We can still go ahead and use up this wish counter on our turn too, but I'm not gonna give it to him. Aka the Brilliant. I wish it was the Brilliant Baka. I wish you could choose the way that the title goes. That'd be pretty cool. Let's make opponent have it. See if they have their changes, or not their changes, their cards that are gonna kind of take advantage of the game or not. Okay, they swing in for 2. They're up in their momentum, which is fine. So now we've got a momentum breaker. We can exile the Hopeless Nightmare, or we can crack the Wishclaw now since we have the 4 mana total and we're only using 1. We can go get a temporary lockdown is what I'm thinking. Like, the lockdown might be kind of crazy, right? So now, as long as they don't have another counter spell, they probably do. Now's the time to use it, opponent. Yeah, they've used 2 Spell Pierce, so they might have another. We don't know, you know, so We'll see. Opponent's thinking. They probably have a this town ain't big enough, right? They have a get out. Oh, okay, so nice. That's just another version. So yeah, they're gonna bounce their talents, which fine by me. I don't mind it. This is where this deck gets fun. This is why I call this deck You Fool. Not only because it's April Fool's Day and it's a silly deck, but opponent thinks they just escaped it, right? Oh, they get their otters, they get to keep going. But we're gonna scroll shift our own temporary lockdown. Now, yes, this is going to impact us a little bit here, but it's also going to impact the opponent. So in the mirror matchup, this kind of isn't great for us. But what we can do is we can scroll shift this. Temporary lockdown goes out, and you're going to see how this kind of goes. We're going to get back our Hopeless Nightmare, so they're going to have to discard. They're going to get back their Momentum Breaker, so we're going to have to discard. And then we're also going to get back the Wishclaw Talisman, so we can then, in response, activate it on our turn, go search for a card, set ourselves up again, and then it comes back in and gets rid of everything, including their Storm Chaser's talents. Whew, everybody still hanging in there with me? Because I think opponent knows what's about to happen. So there goes everything. I forgot we have the case too, so we get a land also. So we can go ahead and tap this, activate it. Go ahead and grab, I think we go for another Hopeless Nightmare, right? Yeah, Hopeless Nightmare. So we can play that next turn. We do have to discard one. I think we want to discard the, I'm thinking Momentum Breaker. Yeah, they have creatures, but it's not really helping us at all to get rid of anything else. Everything goes away, back under. We get to go ahead and search for a land. Let's get a swamp so we can play another Hopeless Nightmare, and then they're just gonna play out the nowhere to run so that I don't benefit off of the Hopeless Nightmare basically. But I still benefit. They lose too. And that's how this deck works. And we've got another scroll shift, so we can do it all over again. Opponent sees the writing on the wall though. And on to the next one. Oh man, this deck, all I can think about is from what's it called? Not Full Metal Alchemist, Soul Eater. You fool! That's what this is based off of. And we're facing Mr. Good. Ooh, this is a nice curve, and we go first. So we have this town ain't big enough. We have Hopeless Nightmare, so we just turn one Nightmare. Turn two, hopefully we're facing aggro again. Mono red. Oof. Or I'm guessing mono red. I'm 98% sure mono red. Now we can go ahead and pass the turn. Hopefully they'll play out like a Heartfire Hero or an Emberheart Challenger. There it is. And bounce ours and theirs. Then we can go ahead and play the plains. Do we want to, this town ain't big enough again, or do we want to just Nurturing Pixie and get it 2 times in 1 turn? I think opponent's going to be more angry if we bounce it again with this town ain't big enough, so I'm going to do that. Alright, they're going to Emberheart, that's fine, let it go through. Opponent's going to Dire Flail. I have not seen anybody play that card. Let's just bounce both of these in response. Alright, we get a Darkslick Shores. We can go ahead and Hopeless Nightmare, discard, lose 2, go ahead, Nurturing Pixie, bounce back to hand, discard, lose 2. This is insane. We've done 8 damage with just Hopeless Nightmare in 4 turns. Opponent, they can equip it, that's fine. They get to look at something off the top. They get the Slick Shot. We take 4. I mean, we can block. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say we can block if we really want. Do we lock down? Let's go ahead and scroll shift. I'm gonna go ahead and scroll shift the Hopeless Nightmare. 10 damage. 10 of our damage done has been done by Hopeless Nightmare. This is putting in so much work. Okay, Brass's Forge. That's fine by me. Next turn, we can know where to run the Ember Heart. And hopefully we get a land, just so we can also Scroll Shift. Oh, Scroll Shift. That's fine, though. Let's go ahead and know where to run the mouse. Swing in for 2. I'm very surprised opponent's still sticking in this, but I don't think that there's anything else that can really change this for them. I think we got this on lock. Let's Scroll Shift the Nightmare, bounces, they lose 2, swing for 2. Pass turn, and yeah, see, this deck, it can't get worse than this for aggro. This is the worst. I didn't think that Esper Bounce could get worse. This is the worst. It does pretty well in the mirror matchup if you know how to play it. Do we end it with the Hopeless Nightmare? I think we do. Hopeless Nightmare. Boom. And that's how we do it. Oh man, that was kind of dirty. Well, let's get into the wrap up. So this was You Fool. This was my deck that I played on April Fool's Day. Shout out to the Deadpool secret lair. I managed to get 2 of them. We'll see. Hopefully I get it. They don't cancel it. But yeah, I actually like this deck. It's really mean. You're not going to make any friends with this. I feel kind of terrible playing it, but not the worst deck I've ever played. So if y'all want to play it, I would highly check it out. Entity Tracker is great when you get it, especially with the bouncing. And yeah, that's about it. So thank you to everybody for the support. We're almost at 150 subscribers at this time. But honestly, first and foremost, last but not least, you are doing everything right today. And you matter. Good. Bye.